Okay, going live. Fingers crossed for this. Well, we hope so too. Okay, broadcast.
If we go on Facebook, my boss might see it. He might think I should be working.
I don't. He don't go on Facebook. He don't like it. It's safe.
Safe.
For now.
Look, it's saying it's doing both, so I don't know if it is or what it's doing or anything else like that. So,
who's got the chat on?
who's dingling? I hear sound. Look, they can hear us.
Ding-a-ling, ding, ding, ding.
It's not me because I forgot about it.
Okay.
I ain't got mine on either.
I've just switched it off.
There we go.
Mine on now.
Okay, run VT. Hello and welcome to the Flory Models Lockdown Friday show. Here we are with you on the 8th of January. Hopefully we're streaming everywhere today. Probably. God knows. Give us a yes, we can hear you and see you in all the various locations, please, people, because we haven't got a clue.
Yes.
Hopefully we are.
I can see you.
Can you? Oh, that's all right. As long as you can see me. Apparently Flory Models is now interactive.
Facebook is starting in
70 and 9. Yeah. Did you notice that Facebook's really behind?
Yeah.
Sound, as you can see.
So if you miss a bit, you can switch to Facebook and watch it again on that.
Facebook's live and
yeah, no, it is. It's active. Look at that. We are seamless across all platforms.
So what else we're streaming on? Tinder, Grindr,
Tinder, and all the others.
all the others.
TikTok. So we have to start it every 30 seconds, 60 seconds. As we go. So anyway, we apologise, obviously, for people who couldn't watch us yesterday. It wasn't our fault, honestly. I know normally it is us, but it wasn't. YouTube failed. It was as simple as that. It wasn't just me. I've had a thing from YouTube as well saying about it, that due to high demand of everyone trying to go live apparently at 7:30, it basically screwed everything up. So what happened was that we couldn't get enough signal to make it not be just a stutterfest 8-bit. So consequently it failed. So then we switched over to the lovely people who were on there as well from Facebook land, and we used it that way. We literally just used it as a panic. What we're going to do, it's either that or we were just going to sit and yap to ourselves, become a podcast, and do it that way. But hopefully now we're all okay.
it was literally 22, wasn't it? And we're sort of thinking, oh God, what we're doing.
Yeah, it was literally like, I just thought, should we do it on Facebook? Yeah, let's do it. Bang, on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we can do it to Facebook, and apparently, and it seems to be working, because I've got Facebook on there, and I've got YouTube down there, and it's doing both, which is a little bit worrying. The computer is currently stressing at around about 44%, so it's all right. It's handling it. So we'll see how it runs anyway. Should be good. Anyway, we trust you're all doing very well. Obviously, this is our proper first lockdown show. We'll be with you for a couple of hours, so to answer any questions that you might have, anything you need to know, any info, any tips and tricks that maybe you might be able to glean from us. We're going to do a little bit of work as well. So the idea is we're going to be doing some modelling. I'm going to do a little bit of clean-up work so I can get on with my toilet seat on my Enterprise, and we can get this thing somewhat together. And then I am going to start on an Airfix Harrier, just something really straightforward, very, very simple, bit of a mojo builder, something else like that. And then we've got Nathan. What are you going to be working on?
I'm not going to start anything new. I'm just going to do a little bit more work on my Mary Rose.
Mary Rose. Right.
Yes.
As opposed to the flattened version.
It's not coming. It's coming on.
Oh, look. Yeah,
I've got
very
all the
nice.
decks. I've got all the decks in because I'm using a photo etch set to put decks in it.
Right.
Tell them the decks, Dave. Tell them what the decks are called.
Well, I did spend a very long time scratch building a poop deck.
Hold on. Let me get to your poop deck, 'cause I've got you on a camera here. There we go. Go for it.
This bit here at the back is legitimately called a poop deck.
Yes.
And I had this, there's two of them, and then I've done some work on the forecastle.
Right.
This bit, and then the main deck. It's all photo etch inside there, so you'll see it on the overheads in a bit. I mean, the number of innuendos in this is unbelievable, because the next job is the mizzen and spanker mast. So I don't know how to keep a straight face in Naval College. I've just got to build some masts now. Great.
Yes.
So it's lovely little
Nigel
kit.
said, what about the footers?
Footers. Oh yeah, because the footers in this scale, I think you can get away without having any footers.
But what are they? In
The
real?
footers are like the frame,
Mm.
like a boat's in like a U shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Footers are the
The
sort of,
formers.
Performance. All right. Okay.
it's just it's been an education building this little boat.
There you go.
Tim said in chat, said, what about all these people on YouTube? What else could they have been watching? Clearly, this is the best show. No, that's the problem. Everybody was trying to watch. Millions of people were trying to watch us. Yeah, and we overloaded YouTube, and then it failed.
Although the funny thing is, we had more people watch us on Facebook last night than did normally watch us on YouTube, which is weird.
Yeah.
So, yes, it came up the statistics because obviously we don't really do that much on Facebook. So this morning my statistics were up by 4,000%. It was 4,312% up on normal because we had the video running last night. So
That's a good jump, isn't it?
definitely.
One of the guys has asked, talk about tips and tricks. Wants to know what your water bottle warmer's for, Nathan.
This water bottle warmer, the baby bottle warmer, is brilliant for decals. Because at the moment it's empty, you just fill it with water, and it's designed to heat up baby bottles. Obviously, my daughter's out of that age range now, so just fill it with water, and I'll put the decals straight in there.
There you go.
And you can dial in a temperature, and it will keep it at that temperature for as long as you leave it plugged in. You can get from quite warm to mildly tepid.
We used to use the microwave. I know you're not supposed to, but at 3 o'clock in the morning, it was just quicker to chuck it in the
Don't
microwave.
microwave your children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you can pick these up second hand. They're all out. People obviously get rid of this sort of stuff, don't they, when the last. So they're not that expensive new, to be honest. But it literally sits there and keeps water perfect decal temperature.
He says he's got one for his little one that they never use. They are a new use for it.
Cheers. I've got a cup warmer.
Yeah, coffee cup warmer.
Okay.
USB
Yeah, I've
one.
got one,
I
but
do.
mine-
Yeah.
Mine never seems to keep it.
No, not as warm as you'd want. I always think that. Yeah.
But the thing is, I use a ceramic dish, so to heat in the ceramic dish.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that was lying around doing nothing. I think we used it twice, to be honest, for its real purpose, and then I thought,
Cool.
Very nice. Fine. Just have to say, at the end of the show, I have done the reveal video for you for the SOD, which is Shelf of Doom build, which I thought was quite apt because we've got all these new names for all our group builds and that. So we've got the C6C, which now everybody's calling it that. So I think we just need to rename it completely.
Yeah.
And obviously the SOD SIG, which is Shelf of Doom. But anyway, I've got the reveal video for the end of that one. There's about 45 of you who finished on that, including these 3 gentlemen here. So yes, you've got your little videos in there as well. Amazingly, the team's actually completed a SIG.
yeah.
So yes, well done to everybody on that one. So we'll put that up at the end of the show as we work our way through. So yes, good job. So just to delegate some stuff, Andy, can you keep an eye on the Flory Models chat room?
Yeah, no problem.
And I'll go between the other two because I've got over there. We've got guys from Chile. We've got guys from the Philippines. We've got Tom who's at work and he's bored. Good job. And then obviously on YouTube, there's loads of you in YouTube as well. So usual thing, if we don't answer your question, feel free to fire it up again. It moves and it's a bit tricky for us to keep up to it. So first question I can see down in here is how do you repose 1/35 scale figures? Matt.
With wire and putty, basically. And a bit of cutting and hacking and, I ain't got one here. I've got none here that I could actually show you, to be honest. Or not that are made. But literally, you just use a piece of the wire, drill holes into like knee joints, elbow joints, and you can, manipulate also down into the head. Where the head sits is good one, so you pin the head. And then you turn in or look, whichever, looking up and down, and but yeah, just really some wire. I say my wire's at home because that's where I normally do my figure stuff. But I tell you what is good for it actually. Paper clips.
Yes. Yeah.
Metal paper clips, and just use them. And but you're obviously going to need some putty as well, just to recarve the clothing or whatever.
So then you can recreate Frankenstein and put in all different legs and arms and heads.
Yeah, it's been done. Yeah, different arms and legs from different manufacturers, and heads and hats and whatever.
Because that's quite common, isn't it? You can buy various manufacturers just do heads, don't they? Highly detailed heads, and just cut heads off and replace heads and stuff like that.
Les says, I hear figures are putty in Matt's hands. Dad joke.
Bad joke.
And Mark says, and if you see this, I've shared the file link, so I'm off, guys, to do some 3D printing.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough.
See you in a couple of days.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see you next week on Friday, but to see how it's coming along. Clearly, it won't be finished. Oh, dear. Right, we just got to say hello to South Africa as well. Hello, South Africa. Hope you're all keeping safe down there as well. Plastic to photo etch. What is the best method? Super glue.
Super glue or white glue, innit?
Super glue or white glue, yeah, definitely. You
Yeah.
can use like a 3 or 5 minute resins, 2-part epoxy resins, and do it that way, but that's a bit overkill. To be honest, I must admit, and this isn't a shameless plug, although it's going to seem like it, but I've really got into where I know. Do you know what? I broke the wine stopper yesterday, and it's out in the kitchen. But AK stuff, the Black Widow black stuff, it's just a little bit chewy, I would call it, and it's really, really good. And also they do the other one, which is called something else. What's his nickname?
What?
The
Sorry,
normal
what?
glue. It's out in the kitchen.
What, the glue?
Yeah, the AK one. What's it called?
That one.
Yeah. New glasses. Magnet, that's it.
Magnet.
Yeah. Nice to see those new glasses are working.
Honestly, I need some readers now. I am getting to that art.
He's going to have 3 pairs of glasses on his head. He's going to have one here. He's going to have one here and one there.
I'm like Andy, look, I'm going to have them up there, and I'm going to have a bit of string. I need a piece of string like Larry Grayson.
So yeah, the magnet stuff, I must admit, I've got quite into, because usually I just use cheap, like this is Everbuild stuff. But again, the trouble with that stuff is as soon as it goes off a little bit, it doesn't bite. You don't get that instant grab, but these are working really well. And the black one's quite good. Just a little bit more chewy. It's got a little bit more sort of, I don't know, like a PVA effect into it.
It's got a bit of rubber in it, hasn't it? I think it's more flexible, don't you think? It's got a bit more...
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's not going to ping off. It's not going to go, when you catch it and it just shatters. And I don't think it'll do that with that black stuff. It's got a bit of something in it. Apparently, it's Pritt stick.
This stuff.
Or clear, the old way of doing it used to be clear, wasn't it? Yeah.
Pritt stick.
Wetch parts.
Never tried that.
Lars has posted in our chat and says, hello Andy, being number 1, do you think you'll be employee of the month?
Well,
Possibly.
I was talking to my wife yesterday because she was moaning about where she's working and said she's just a number. And I said, well, at least I'm not a number, but if I am a number, I'll be number 1.
Well, we'll be number 2 because we have a virtual number 1. We'll be like some of those businesses who start their number in like hotels at room number 400. So yes. I just saw another one there. Somebody was asking about best. Oh yeah, what colour primer for metallic blues? What do we reckon? Metallic blues, Matt?
Just grey.
Grey. Don't need a
Metallic
white one
blues
then for that being.
It's got good pigmentation, metallic blues anyway, really. So I shouldn't really have a problem with it. But grey's just neutral, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's the all-round go-to colour, unless obviously you are doing sort of red, yellow, or orange where you need a white base.
Yeah.
But a lot of the others, it's absolutely fine. So yeah, grey, I'd say. Shouldn't be a problem.
Thanks for the shows, chaps. What is the best bare metal paint finish for use on aircraft as a brush painter?
Come back to us with that one. I've got Nathan. This is one for you.
I think it's got to be like the Vallejo.
Yeah, Vallejo acrylics you can hand paint. The
What
metal
about-
colours.
Yeah.
What about GW's paint?
Yeah.
Yeah, Games Workshop's good. Yeah.
Yeah, Games Workshop.
I think small areas, I just use the buffables.
I was going to say, to be honest with you, if you're talking like, you know, a 48 scale bomber, then it's not going to work. But obviously the buffables, you can then put down a thin coat of that, let it sit, and then buff the hell out of it and go for it like that, which I've done in the past. I did it to a 32nd scale Mustang, but I airbrushed it on, then buffed it. But if you were, you know, if you're good with your hand painting and all the rest of it, you can do it. But I think for smaller areas, definitely the buffables work really, really well.
There was a 48 B17. It must have been the old monogram one doing the round to the shows a few years ago. And that had been hand brushed with buffables.
Yeah, what he did, he polished the plastic to a high sheen, like really glossed the plastic up, and then just buffed it on with a makeup brush.
Yeah.
But it's going to be difficult to handle, isn't it?
I was about to say, I bet that was fun to move around if I were covered in it.
I mean, Tim and Richard in our chat are saying Vallejo metal colours brushed perfectly. So.
Yeah, I must admit, the metal colours you can hand paint, and I have hand painted, but I've never tried to do a big flat area, if that makes sense, like a wing. I've only ever done small things and round things and engines and stuff with it. So,
Mate, can you put your YouTube channel up, please, on the chat? Because George wants to know where you can find your videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're not good enough.
No, that's it. He's going to go off and watch Nathan now. True. Right, well, we go over here. Hello, guys, from Northern Ireland. Cool. See that we're totally global today.
Just a quickie, Matt, Phil. Soren says Matt's new glasses make him look intellectual.
I think, yeah, this is the Clark Kent look.
Oh, is it? Is it what he's going for? He's going to rush out doing this. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, look.
You look more like Del Boy.
Yeah, probably. Got my sheepskin jacket.
That's it. James says, just ordered one of those sets you have, Phil. Sorry, I'm slightly behind. It was recommended by a mate of mine who set up a gaming areas. I'm in desperate need of a good economic or ergonomic, I should say, chair for spending hours sat at the modelling. Absolutely. These chairs, highly recommend it. Still far superior to any other chair I've had, ever.
Do you know that there's a review on one of the computer channels, Steve's something or other, and he's tested loads and loads and loads of chairs over about a 6-month period, and the worst ones that he says came out of it all were gaming chairs. Because he says that the shoulders on them make your shoulders hurt, lunge forward. He says they're not particularly that comfortable. And he says that a good quality Gamers Next, that was it. Sorry, yeah, Gamers Nexus, yeah. And a good quality office chair is better than a good quality gaming chair.
But again, I think when they say gaming chair, it's more the shape and style, because obviously it's done for a sort of Recaro style, isn't it? And all the rest of it. Because I don't know many gamers who sit like this anyway.
Yeah.
So, but personally, as I say, a lot of you know, I suffer really bad sciatica, and the lumbar support has been like night and day. Because I used to use, and I've still got a couple of the other ones over here, just cheap office chair ones, 50 quid things. And it used to kill me, but I don't get sciatica anywhere. But the lumbar support, I couldn't be without it now. It's really uncomfortable until you get used to it. So, yes. Want to try Flory Models Wash, and it's not available in the Philippines. Don't worry, it's not available anywhere at the moment. Right. Again, this is just going back really to the PM show. At the moment, because of the way the world is at the moment, we are not shipping pretty much outside of the UK. We are doing some limited services abroad that aren't in the EU, but we've got real trouble with EU. But if you want to, PM Models will ship to the Philippines, won't you, Matt?
Yeah, we'll
So if you go to PM Models UK, obviously that's our other company. There it is. Look, it's behind there. He's there. Look. And again, we've got it all in there. In fact, look, I could be flashed because I've got it up here from earlier. I've still got it. Hold on, where are we? So yeah, here we go. PM store, Starsis store. If you go to Flory Models, products in there. Obviously, you've got all your washes and your things in there. They are going to get all the rest of the stock next week as well. because there's some items they haven't got that they will have very, very shortly. Okay, so that will be all in there. You can get them all from there. Okay, so again, they do everything you could ever need. All of your paints, glues, and again, unless you're in Europe, we'll ship anywhere.
For the time being, hopefully we're going to get it sorted next week with the EU.
Yeah.
It's that we're on a mission for getting the EU back up and posting too. So stay with us. I know I've had a few messages from other people and what they're doing and blah de blah. So yeah, we're going to be on it next week. This week's just been a bit of a catch up and sort out pre-orders and auctions and orders and just get on top of stuff. So me and Andy's got stock take to do and EU membership posting next week, so that's what we're going to be concentrating on. So just hang on a little bit longer and then hopefully we will have some news. Obviously doing these shows as well, how often you will know straight away, really.
Yeah, we keep you up to date almost on a daily basis, really. So that's the thing with that.
What's with Ravel putting the paper on the back of the decal sheet? Protected paper was on the back. What's that all about? Should it be on the front?
So?
The review that he did of the Shackleton film, the decal paper was on the back on your review, and Stephen Imps has
Got the same.
taken his attitude out of the same.
That
Yeah,
must be that review.
yeah, it's an old one, but yes, yeah. Sometimes they do. It's funny.
Yeah,
That's
it
weird,
made
isn't
him
it?
chuckle because it was the same as yours.
A lot of the time, you get the protective paper like this. Isn't even anywhere near a decal sheet by the time you get it in the box. I think, and again, it's one of those things. If you go for some of the people like Hobby Boss and Trumpeter, they sellotape theirs to it, so it can't move.
Yeah.
It's, very nicely done, very nicely packaged. But
Just to mention about that paper, if you get it, save it, it's good for wet pallets.
oh yeah, keep it
Yeah,
in
I was
your
about to
palette.
say that. Yeah.
You can recycle it for wet pallets, yeah.
It's
Well,
so one of the first things I do is when I'll open a new kit up, take the decals out, put the that paper the right side up, and then put the decals between the instruction sheet just to keep them safe, and put them back because normally they're just like tucked in the bottom of the box
and then put it back in the wardrobe.
and put it in the back of the wardrobe for 6 years. Just a quickie, George Thorpe says, anyone tried using the Quint Studios cockpit detail 3D decals? What do you think? Phil's going to try them because he was looking at trying to decide which ones to buy to do a kit with, weren't you, Phil?
To be honest, they do look really, really nice. But again, we're just into that thing, isn't it? Where if you're going to have something like a Phantom, I wouldn't bother because you can't see it. There's not enough in there. But if you've got like an F-16 with a nice big canopy and you can look into it, then it's a little bit different. So I'm just waking my mind up on what to go with. But they have released tons of it, haven't they? Well, I don't know if it's actually out yet, but I know on their future releases, they've got everything these days, and they do look nice. And to be honest, I am terrible at little painting jobs, so ideal for me.
We were looking through them the other day, weren't we?
Because we were joking the other day off air, wasn't it? And we were saying by the time you've used a decal sheet like that, which is now literally means you don't have to paint, you just prime the cockpit a rough colour and then stick all them in. That's it. It's making modelling very, very easy because again, you would spend quite a bit of time doing a cockpit back in the day, wouldn't you? Doing all the little switches and hand painting. Now, sand it off and stick. Job done. So
Tim's saying these AK glues, are they something new? Do they last longer than a month or so?
again, I've been using these ones. The other way to say it's in the kitchen. I need to grab it back. It's one of these. I don't leave it open. I tend to be a little bit more, make sure you close it. So I don't leave it with the top off for a couple of hours and all the rest of it. But these I've had, Matt sent me these, must have been summer last year, and they're still fine. So I can vouch for them for, say, 6 months. What has he been? Has he been in the depths of the warehouse?
Oh, the Red Barrett.
There's no getting out of it now.
All over you.
I'm under constant friendly pressure to start my DR1, aren't I?
Yeah, you have got the Red Baron on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they all are.
You know what? I've
The
kind of
top
figured.
Top two of the Red Baron. I don't know about the others.
Yeah.
I quite like.
World War One is. I enjoyed doing my little 48 one.
Oh, they all are. Oh, that's Lothar von Richthofen.
Yeah.
The stripy yellow one.
Right.
The one that looks like wallpaper.
Yeah, and then the other three are Manfred. Which one are you doing, Nate? Which one are you doing?
I've done a completely red one before, so I think the top one looks quite cool.
So he's going to go with the 1970s wallpaper look.
Yeah.
Like it.
Steve Little just said, "Want to say thanks to Matt as a slightly plain obsessed. It's great watching Matt's face as the life drains from it, as others drone on about phantom intakes. And is it an A or an F?" Matt's always been a plain.
I'm not that bad.
I'm going to be building
Oh,
that.
Matilda.
a Matilda tank.
So I saw the tracks.
So be prepared to see it finished in the next Shelf for Doom.
2024. Please, can you guys speak to some manufacturers about making a 32nd scale Mirage F1, A or a C? Ooh.
So the F1 have been nice. Italaria, your most likely candidate for that, aren't they?
Kitty Hawk, isn't it?
Kitty or an F1 because they've done it in 48.
Yeah, they've done the 48, so I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, because obviously they've done the Mirage 2000.
A nice aircraft, nice looking aircraft.
Yeah, the F1's like one of the better Mirages, isn't it?
Yeah, guys, come in. Don't forget, if you're buying outside of the UK, buy from the PM store. Shameless plug, get all your other stuff at the same time, you see. So don't say you can't buy from outside the UK from the Flory Models store. So you want to get it all from the PM store.
And if you are a Flory member, you can still use the discount.
Yeah, you still get your 15% discount. Well, what have we got down here? Just use some of the Quinetta 3D decals on my F14D, and they are good and easy to apply. They do look really, really nice. When I was having a look through their forthcoming list, they got some really good stuff in there. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't sort of jump on that. I'd like to give them a go, definitely.
Have you read about the 3D printed SU-27 cockpit panel after we melted the kit pot by dropping it in thinners?
Let's do it.
That's a good way of getting out of it, though, isn't it? You can print your own.
So I used to like using Yahoo panels, just jazz up the instrument panel.
Yeah.
But I think, like Phil says, as long as it's got lots of glass and you're going to see it, it is a worthwhile investment. Like the Hind, you know, the Zvezda Hind would be a perfect candidate for it.
It seems too coincidental that the Zvezda Hind have got no detail in the cockpit.
What are you trying to say, Andy? Are you insinuating they've been talking and maybe releasing a kit soon that might have come with all the aftermarket you could ever want? That would be, yeah. I can't believe a company would do that.
Yeah.
As if a company would stoop that low to try and cash in initially and then do another boxing with their own one with everything in it. I think that'd be terrible. We've been doing this too long because these companies do this and it's the first thing we think of. That's why they've done it. They deliberately left it plain so they can stuff it full of aftermarket down the road.
Hey, let's be honest, it's not even released yet, but that's the Zvezda Typhoon, and then Quinta's done all the seat belts and cabin.
Yeah.
They're obviously in cahoots, so it's sharing tab files.
There's definitely a bit of thing. Talks go on there. There's a few drinks.
Why not? Why not indeed?
Nothing wrong, I guess. But...
I feel, what do you think of the recently released Airfix 2021 list of kits? As we said last night, I think actually that's the bit where we went off air. Again, we were saying it's nice but not exciting. Nothing really blew us away, but it's quite nice that the Vampire coming along, and obviously we were saying with the Chipmunk, quite iconic aircraft. And we were saying it's really, I think Airfix are sort of putting down some foundations, I think, for the future. I think from a business point of view, they're putting obviously some investments into money to be able to say, right, okay, let's get the kids involved with it. And they're doing obviously the new range of kits down that way, so the easy kits, if you like, stepping up, and they're filling holes in their range rather than jumping out and doing new stuff, which is fair play to them.
It's nice to see that they're starting to do their own range of 35th kits, like the ambulance.
Ambulance. What's it called again?
It's an Austin Katie ambulance, isn't it?
Katie, that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that's good if it's theirs, because obviously we thought the Cromwell were theirs, but Academy's done it for them, so I don't know if it's been outsourced again. We'd have to find out. But
yeah.
I mean, I think it's...
If it's good, it doesn't matter.
I think they've picked a couple of good ones. The Tempest. We didn't really talk about the Tempest last night, but that's
yeah, a nice little one, isn't it? Goes along with the Typhoon.
I think that's a nice scat, because the Tempest Typhoon have, they've been, of that World War II single seat fighter, they've been underkitted really. It's nice to see the Tempest.
Yes.
The Vampire, I think, is probably the one that, if I had to choose one kit, so you can buy one of them, I think the Vampire for me.
Yeah, again, I think like the Vampire is quite nice. We were saying, because obviously you've got the Hunter, you've got the Vampire now, and obviously working your way through, it's all the sort of Cold War, early jet type stuff. It's filling in the gaps for everything. So yeah, I think it's very good. And obviously the Mozzie as well, 72nd. Nice new tool Mozzie, that would be quite nice. And again, it seems to be Airfix, because obviously it said I have commented about them doing giant kits that don't get built. But going back to 72nd. Some nice stuff coming through as well.
I'm surprised they haven't done any smaller armour kits, if I'm honest. Like we've got the Tiger here, and they've done the Firefly, and so I'm actually surprised there's not another one that's dropped in. But
T-34 would have been an obvious next step for that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Saying down in here, I saw Pranjit on the Airfix YouTube. Well, you will, because don't forget, he does work for Airfix. That's why he's on there. Pranjit's a designer for Airfix, you see. So, but yes, we've said it's very good because he actually managed to slip in 2 of our Sanders. So he got that one in, and then he got that one in. So he's all right. So
yeah.
Free Sanders for Pranjit. Neil Small has got a question. Question for Phil. Phil, do you have a rough idea of your 2021 builds? Is the Tamiya Zero on the list? Question for Matt. See a couple of YouTubers having real issues with the War Pig and Meng DR1.
Warping, not War Pig.
yeah, warping.
Where's War Pig come from?
Warping.
Put your glasses on.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, put Matt's glasses on.
With the Meng DR1, has anyone had any issue experience? We've not had any people moan about warping on the DR1, have we? There's parts of the screws that were broken, but they were initially replaced. But then that was only was it the top wing, middle wing, where
It's the thingy.
It
What
joined on
happened,
the
the full
fuselage,
story
you
is,
could, like,
in packaging in the factory, they put them in the wrong order in the box.
Yeah, the seat's wrong way up. If the
So
seat
what
was
happens
like
is the
that,
seat pushed up
Yeah.
against
The
another
seat-
part that's in there, and then that's what broke it. So that's why some of them are okay, but
Yeah.
clearly whoever was on that side of the production line was putting them in the box upside down, and they weren't in the correct order. So that's why some of them are okay and some of them aren't. So
But
it's
it
a little
wasn't-
bit hit and miss.
it was an easy fix, though, wasn't it? Even if you have got a damage one.
Oh
it's
yeah,
easy.
yeah. Because to be honest, mine was broken, but you know, it's a clean break, and you just glue it back in, and away you go. But that's what that problem always was: is that during manufacturing, when they're taking the sprues from the box and obviously on the production line putting them in, one of them put it in upside down, so the seat was pushing up. Then they put the wing on, and when they pushed down on the box, click, you know.
So just to answer his question about the DR1, well, Nathan's going to build one, so he'll tell you if it's warped or not. So we'll see what issues he has, he said, if any.
And me, Matt, and Nathan, what's Phil going to build for this year?
How come you've got one of them? Why is that? Or you?
Yeah, come you got one?
See, I have my own sources, you know.
Oh, you bought your own, didn't you?
I had to buy. Yes, if you remember, I bought my own because you
yes,
sold
that was it.
mine.
You had to
So
buy
my review sample got sold, so I had to go out and buy my own.
Not that we couldn't have sent you one.
No. Well, at that point, you couldn't actually. You only had the second load in. But everyone was saying to me about it, so I just whipped up and grabbed one off the shelf, and yeah. So yes.
Build schedule for this year, Phil. You got an idea?
Yeah, so my build schedule literally is obviously I'm doing the thingy-majig, toilet seat, and then I'm straight into this next week. So we're into the SH60B. We're going to be starting on that next week as we make our way through. And then again, I've got the Zero to do, because I know you're asking about the Zero. So I had the Zero down in there. That's up as well. So they're all going to tie in with obviously the group builds and SIGs this year. So obviously the marine theme and stuff like that to making our way in. And then some of the others are subject to change. I'm waiting on a few things. And obviously it depends how COVID goes as well, doing the lockdown shows, because that affects it. So I might do some small, quicker builds. you know, of stuff that's been released, and I can do them literally here. So we were thinking a bit like Matt's doing as well with his little tank. His little tank.
A little tank.
His little tank. And obviously Nathan's doing the Spitfire at the moment, the new Spitfire from Airfix.
Just to say, just a shameless plug, we've got Transient one in stock now. They came in today, so Andy's put them up. And the 48 Spitfire VB, the reissued one.
Yeah.
So, be nice, because that's supposed to be a nice little kit. That's I've got that and the Firefly, so on top of everything else. I think quite nice builds, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought what I might do is just do some smaller stuff and just literally put them together so we can see how they sort of go together rather than getting detailed painting and stuff. So we can do those as part of the live shows and things like that.
I can tell you all about that, Harriet. It's a great kit.
I've built lots of these already. I must admit, I have got a cupboard full in there, but they are very, very nice. All of them sold.
I've done the GR3, which is basically, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Nice little build. You'll enjoy that.
Yes.
Yeah, a nice kit.
Soren says that Andy's going to be waltzing Matilda. I am, but you've got to do it in a Russian accent because it's going to be the
Comrade.
Russian one.
Unpopular opinion. Warning, Revel have really outdone Airfix on their new releases for 2021.
Oh, there. Is that sarcasm? Because he's not quite coming over online.
I don't know. He's probably thinking, well, because they're bringing out an SR71, that's it, the be-all and end-all, if we ever see it. And let's face it, we haven't seen it yet. It could be awful.
Have they actually got any other new tooled releases of this? Are they bringing any else out, or is it just all...
Old drivel.
Well, I wasn't saying that.
Drop.
I was going to say reboxings and, you know...
That's their little niche at the moment, isn't it? Just reboxing stuff.
Yeah, David says, is there a Rebel release this year? I've not seen what are they doing.
I got thinking like last year.
Because I say that's last year's.
Release
the SR71 was,
Yeah. They tend to do like quarters, don't they? They tend to.
Yeah.
They announce the batch.
They're doing a different version of the E-Type, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're doing which version are they doing? The Roadster, innit? Yeah, I don't know what other new tool things there is. Somebody will put it up in our chat.
No idea.
Right, let me just grab a couple of questions for over this side. Let's see, where are we? That's the F14 one. That's the one talking about it. Been waiting for the chipmunk. So yeah, James, I'm with you on that. It's nice to see the chipmunk. Did you see the new 35th scale 109 G6 from Border Models? Yeah, we spoke about that the other night. Again, I go along with their Stuka as well. We were actually discussing how it's correct now. They should do it in 35th, and there should be no such thing as a 32nd scale model anymore. But just keep it on the line. Everything's 35th, because that way it fits in with all the armour stuff, and then obviously the small scales 48th, and then that way we can have 48 scale armour to go along with the 48 scale aircraft. So that's it. That's how the world should be. It makes things so much easier.
Should have 144, 172nd,
148th and 35th. That's it. 16th if you're really mad.
Yeah.
You know what will happen? The aircraft models will start going on to 35th. There's the armour modelers will start going on to 32nd. There's all the aircraft that are going on to 35th.
Yeah.
I say what though, it'll be good to see how these new 35th plane kits go, shall we say? How the public take to them and if it takes off.
The big thing is, like we said before, that from a scale point of view, if you was to stick a 35th next to a 32nd, there's not a lot in it. You know, there's a tiny amount. That's why you can get away with the figure sometimes. A bit of forced perspective. He's just a short guy or he's a very tall guy, you know, and do it literally that way. You can get away with it. So if there was to standardise, I think it would make things a lot easier. But I just can't imagine the company saying, yes, we're going to totally move away and just go for it. That's why if Border Models, obviously it's their first sort of foray into this. If they get good sales from it, I think other companies might think about it, you know? So,
you know, going back to that scale thing though, why has Tamiya never done it with their bigger stuff? Because they're the ones who kind of created 35th scale.
Yes. Yeah.
So why didn't they never follow it on with the larger aircraft?
Yes.
They always stuck with 32nd, where, you know, the crossover, because obviously now they do 148th armour, quite a big range of it, and they've got obviously 48 flying of aircraft, so it would kind of have made sense for them to push that genre, really, but...
I love that 48 scale Tamiya armour. They're brilliant. I've built 3 or 4 of them.
I'm planning on trying it, because I've never built any of it yet, so, yeah.
Andy'll tell you, it's brilliant.
Yeah. There's 9% difference between 35th and 32nd.
Okay, so hi guys, first time managed to catch the live show. However, I've been watching a lot of your videos online and I've learnt so much. I'm an oh sorry, it's jumping. Can you not stop it jumping on this one?
No.
Where are we? I'm an ex-squaddy and suffer from PTSD as well as some serious physical disabilities. I started building in the first, hold on, Seymour, lockdown. Help me so much. Did you contact me before? I've got to send somebody something. So if you haven't, message me privately and I'll sort you out with a little something. Because I did have another squaddy who contacted me this week and I need to sort him out as well. I literally haven't had a chance to do it. But message me personally and I'll sort you out with a little something. But definitely. But anyway, it's our pleasure. Hopefully you can take your mind off things and you can get away from everything for a couple of hours a day. That's what we try and do.
That's why we do it, isn't it? Just
Absolutely.
bit of escapism, isn't it? That's what the hobby's good for.
That's it. Chad says, does anybody have any else's issues with Vallejo paint not wanting to spray right and peeling? Ooh, back to that old topic.
Yeah, but is it?
Again, I think what it is that the Vallejo range use polyurethane in it, which is basically like a latex. So that's why you get the peeling. And when it's totally dry, it's not so much of a problem. But when it's still soft, it peels. So if you try and sand it and that, it rolls up and it's a bit of a nightmare. As I say, I don't really use it anymore. I used to. I use the normal model colour, Vallejo model colour. But as for like Model Air and stuff like that, I've sort of moved off of that these days.
Peter Tennant says he's ordered a FX Tiger, couldn't help himself, and he's also ordered some plastic cement as well. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you very much. 35th scale is too big. 350th is the future. Jesus. Chris, you're on your own there. Apart from Nathan, because Nathan does really wacky, tiny stuff.
Yeah, tell me about it.
See, there you go. A 35th scale F86. See? Started something now. We've started something. It's the future.
It is.
We should start a company, PM Models. Oh, yeah, we already have. Sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody just answers this question here. Hi, chaps. With the Flory Models product range seems to be ever growing. Any plans on producing a Flory own brand model kits? Jesus. If I had the money, like seriously, if I did the lottery and won it, which would obviously help, then I'd have a go. And obviously it'd be in 35th scale now. So it'd be a 35th scale Buccaneer. Just to really throw it out there. So, but yeah, I would, but you know, we speak to a lot of manufacturers and that, as you know, and you hear, they never tell you exactly how much, but they'll give you a rough idea of how much it costs to do this thing. You need to be very deep pockets to be able to afford to generally get a kit out of the ground into CAD, you know, and then obviously into injection molding, packaging, stuff like that. Yeah, that's it's incredibly difficult, I should think. Time consuming. We have to employ Pramjet.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson tried it, didn't he?
Robert says, are you guys answering questions from today's show or do I put questions elsewhere?
Well, we're sort of all over the place. I'm a bit like here. I haven't even looked in the forum yet. So
Just put
chuck them anywhere you like.
Yeah, if you want to put them in chat here on Robert, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll see it.
Yeah.
See, it'd be easier to do them in chat today, wouldn't it, than hopping around the
Yeah,
forum?
I would say chuck it in chat. It's easier. Like I said before, if we miss your question, it's nothing personal. Just repost it again and we will get to it. It's just we've got loads in here. Richard says, hi guys, talking about the SR71, I wish someone would do a new tool, 172nd SR71, the Rebel one, which is 48th, which needs one of those. Also, I also hope Revell one is not a dog of a kit. Again, The only thing that worries me with the Revell one is it's going to be really long and spindly, and Revell's plastic tends to be really soft. You know what I mean?
Undercarriage issues, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
I know. I'm just worried about flash and big parts with Revell. Yeah. So we will see how that one pans out. But it'd be interesting to see it, I must admit.
It's a big aeroplane, though, isn't it? In 48, it's going to be huge.
Daryl says about tinting clear parts. We answered this exact question. I think I did it the other day as well. So clears. So obviously you got your clear blues. Because I did it on the armoured on this little guy. So I put it on the edges of the armour, of the clear parts, just on the edges. Don't actually spray it. And that way you get the hue sort of comes through. And that goes onto that one then. And it gives like an armoured effect. If you want something like front of a Phantom or like a Spitfire, it's got the thick armour glass on the front of them, that way you can actually just spray it onto it, and you can just use clears. So clear yellows, clear blues, sometimes clear greens, whichever way you want it, to give it that sort of tint, and do it that way.
On our chat, Brian's put a link up for Hannon's with Revell new releases, but I'm pretty sure they're the ones that they announced last year. Nothing for this year.
No, it did thingy on them, to be honest, and for this year.
Second, sorry?
That is the release schedule for this year.
Wait, aren't they the ones that were announced last year, though?
Yeah, for this year.
Yeah, I know, but they've not announced anything new for this year.
Not a recent announcement from like today.
There's no newer announcements for this year.
Not new, no.
They're doing a bus. They're doing a Volkswagen bay window bus.
Oops.
You ready for a question from the forum?
Yes.
So Robert's put this on the forum. I'll put it here. He said he would like to say thanks to Phil again and for the rest of the Florians for keeping the Europeans in. So now for the question, he's building a 32nd scale Tamiya F14B, which is converted, and he'd like to make it with a lightning pod and a Phoenix on the shoulder pylons, but his kit doesn't have that sprue. Sent several emails to Hobbyco. Is there any other way to buy Tamiya spare parts from Europe?
I don't know who the European distributor is, because Hobbyco's the UK one. So I don't think you'll have any luck through them for Europe. You need to find out who your distributor is. I'll tell you who is distributing. AK Interactive are doing Tamiya.
Yeah.
That's the lightning pod.
I'd say I might have. Is it say 48 scale?
32.
32. Yeah. See.
Eddard do one, don't they?
What, 32?
Yeah.
I don't know if they do 32. I know they do 48.
The lightning pod you might be able to get aftermarket.
ANAAQ 28 lightning pod.
Yeah.
32nd.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Grab that one then.
It's Eddard 632126.
Are they? You just got to be careful. Are they handed left or right?
No, they only go on one station. They're bolted to the aircraft. They don't. They leave the ground station and fly out to the carrier with them. They can't even remove them. Useless piece of fact here: they're not allowed to fly over a certain altitude with them because they have a habit of catching fire, and obviously they can't jettison them because they're bolted physically to the aircraft. So they couldn't jettison them when they used to catch fire. So they weren't allowed over a certain altitude. I think it's like 30,000 feet. So they had, or whatever it was. So the F-14s had to carry them at a lower altitude in case of fire. But yeah, it was always on the starboard side, Phoenix, or cheek, shoulder. I think they call it the shoulder. Glove station. That's the other name, I think.
Yeah, Eddard do a resin one.
Oh, well, there we go. Perhaps grab one that way.
In 32nd.
Yeah, I've used their 48 one and their 72 lightning pods.
All right. He says it's just the pod. You need the adapter, pylon adapter.
I'll tell you what.
32nd F14 has it.
3D printing's your friend.
Andy will write you one up.
Is it really complicated shape? I wonder if you could scratch it.
It's not really. No, it's a converted Phoenix one. It's just a Phoenix pylon that's converted slightly. I reckon you could do it.
Bit of scratch building would be
Yeah.
worth it, wouldn't it? Oh, he's got the pod, not the pylons. Sorry. God.
So is he just after the pylon, or do you want the pod?
32 scale pylons to attach the pod.
Yeah, can't he just? I'm not being funny. Scratch build that because that's not too much.
Try and find a pylon that's similar.
Hmm.
Something else, maybe, or a bit of plastic card. And... tricky. The Trumpeter 32 scale one has it. Richard's just placed it up, so that might be another avenue. Krista's asking what makes the big brands popular. Is it money? So it says, what is it? How did Eddard get where they are?
They all started off with aftermarket, didn't they? In their own little
Photo etch, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they're reboxing other people's kits and putting photo etch in them.
I mean, it's a good point. I mean, things like quite a lot of the sort of Eastern European manufacturers have gone from quite niche to being almost mainstream, haven't they? Like ICM and Special Lobby and them lot, they've come from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Thing is, if you release a right subject matter at the right time, you've made your business to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course you have. Yeah.
And obviously, ICM have took on different staff, haven't they? They've upped the game from when they first started and employed the right people as well. I think that's got a lot to do with it. So,
Special Lobby just fills gaps.
the market, do the research. It's research as well, isn't it? So Eddard do that. You know what people like, and they've got a nice formula going for it. So, obviously, Tammy's just Tammy now because they've been. An earfix is earfix. You've got the brand name, so people trust in them. They like Revell still. People still buy Revell because they know the name.
Yeah.
Nostalgia on Airfix's part, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But again, I think they've still got that bit. But I think now with what they're releasing and the kit, the detail and stuff, it's starting to fade a little bit. I think into the nostalgia bit because they do good stuff.
Mm.
I mean, Special Lobby for me, they did well because they filled gaps. They released kits that nobody else ever released.
No.
They're now doing like 109s and more popular subjects, but they seem to have made a success of it from doing that.
Yeah, they still do niche stuff, don't they? Really, I think.
Yeah.
Dave put, whatever happened to the pilot figure that you were going to release for the Hellcat? COVID.
Yeah, he caught COVID.
Yeah, it kind of put everything on hold for us with that.
Everything went on hold.
It's still upstairs in a box, and you might see the light of day one day. It's just one of them. And other things took over at the time as well after we'd had it done, to be honest, to do with building the business. So
yeah,
never say never. It's still around, but again, with what's going on with the pandemic, it's a bit on hold at the minute. It's not our priority as a business to be doing that. So,
just looking at Meng's releases, their first armour kit was the Merkava Mark III.
Popular tankers, there's one up behind.
Gold Chariot.
Mark 1, Nathan.
Oh, yeah.
He remembers that.
Yeah.
When I started and handed over.
Yeah.
Fred says, good morning from Ontario. I'm having issues painting molded in detail in wheel wells and cockpits. Can you recommend tutorials or builds that would help? Well, pretty much all of them. Like I always say, if it's like with me, I don't tend to go massively into the last wire and detail in there. So I like to go straight forward in with like your base color of what it is, and then I'll go in with a wash, dry brushing, and then I'll pick out by hand just the details in there for hoses and stuff. And again, depending if it's Russian, because Russian wheel wells and stuff like that, they just do this color coded thing, and I don't know which way round it is, but yellow's fuel in it, and then black is airlines, brown is hydraulics, and they have different color hoses, and I tend to just try and recreate that sometimes with those types of things, and the same with sort of Western stuff and stuff like that, but generally don't go massively over the top because you don't see much of it. It's one of those things. I don't see the point of spending hours and hours and hours in an area that no one's going to see it. So I tend to put the sort of effort and time into other areas, into cockpits, like you were saying, and stuff like that. And then same with cockpits, like we were saying, you've got the Quinta stuff, which is fantastic now if you're not very good at it, because it's literally stick it in and away you go. But colour cockpit sets, I've been using those a lot recently, and they are fantastic. If you're not very good at painting details, especially cockpits, switches and stuff like that, you can just sand off all the detail, put your base coat onto it, colour, and then they are literally self-adhesive and they just stick on, and you can put them in. And there's some fantastic companies out there that do sort of 3D ones as well. So they're quite nice. And obviously Edard's jumped on that one as well now and doing 3D printed panels. And they're fully coloured and done as well. So that adds detail into it. But generally, as I say, most of them I do spend quite a bit of time on and show. But again, I'm just trying to think of which one. It depends really what you're thinking of. Just have a look at the videos that we've done of a particular aircraft, and you can see how I actually tackled it.
Robert has asked, James has asked, is the fire affected production for Edard?
Apparently not, because production wasn't there anyway. It was only a storage warehouse, wasn't it? So, and they did put up a post last week, wasn't it, saying that initially they thought everything was a write-off, but actually they've managed to salvage quite a bit. So it's not quite as bad. Yeah.
The shop's still closed, isn't it?
Yeah. But apparently they've got to do a lot of repackaging and that, because obviously water damage and smoke damage. But they were hopeful at that point that a lot of the sprues were salvageable and things like that. So everything might just have that barbecue smoky smell.
Nathan, have you seen Airfix's release of the LIM5?
Yes, I have. It's got East German markings.
I've just noticed it. I like the Polish one, actually. I think that's quite cool. That's just a 15, isn't it? Hey.
I like that one as well. There's quite a few Airfix releases. The Heracles, or however you pronounce it, looks quite cool as well.
The what, sorry?
That interwar Heracles, or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah. No,
Ali B says, is there any quick, short, clear cut techniques for formation lights? I'm doing the Kinetic F-18 with no formation light decals.
Again, depending on what it is, because some aircrafts want a more of a buff colour when they're switched off.
It's Atars.
Okay.
Atars, F-18 Atars.
The recce one. Atars. Yeah, so on F-18s, when they're off, you don't really notice them. So it depends. If you're trying to recreate them, obviously that's a different thing. You can get decal paper. Not decal paper, but you can buy paper, and I don't know what I've done with it now, but I had it in here, and every time you turn off the studio light, there's a big glow, and it's like a green glow from it, and it's you can actually put slivers of that onto the model, and then put get a light, a torch onto it, and it charges it up, and it'll glow for like an hour, and it looks pretty cool, to be honest. But when they're switched off, there's not actually a great deal to see. They're not very bright. They tend to have like a dirty buff look when they're off. So that's how I sort of go about it. You can actually put like a wash over it.
Bit like us then, eh?
What, needed a buff?
No, not very bright.
David Hughes says, before I got back into hobby, I only ever heard of Airfix and old Airfix. So I only heard and built old Airfix and Rebel. Couldn't believe the quality of new kits.
Technology.
James said, the advantage of 3D decals is you get the detail of print and the relief of resin.
Yeah, that's always been the thing with photo etch, isn't it? They're flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George
sorry.
Says, has anybody built the Pacific Coast models 32nd Hawker Hurricane? Looks like a limited run kit with resin and photo etch. They have the early and late Mark 1. The Pacific Coast kits are very...
Say it.
Fantastic. the limited run kits, and so they'll take a lot of putting together, but when you get them together, they do look nice. I've got the TA152, and it's not a patch on the Zukamori one at all.
The kit you're trying to flog off to me.
What a kit! I noticed, that fantastic kit keep trying to flog off to you, it will need. I mean, Hawk Hurricane doesn't need much riveting, but the one I've got does need a lot of riveting doing it. It's sort of like it's limited on its detail, but it's the basis of a good kit if you put it together and spend the time doing it.
One for Phil. He likes crap kits.
I wouldn't say I like crap kits. I just end up having to build them a lot of the time.
If it was a choice between the Pacific Coast ones or the Fly Models one, I'd do the Fly Models one.
God, it must be awful then.
That's it.
Nathan, I forgot to ask last night, what do you think to this ICM Gotha?
Do you know what?
Being the leader of the Luftwaffe, as you are. See, I'll say.
I mean, I would say, it's, you know, if you'd have asked me a week ago, think of something that needs releasing. I think they've done quite well to spot. It's one of those little, because it's such an iconic aircraft. The shape is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think
I'm surprised they've done it though. I'd have thought.
I think they've been quite clever there. They've picked some under-kitted, and there's not that much World War II Luftwaffe stuff that, when you think about it, like, oh yeah, that's a really good choice.
Well, it's a special hobby. It's a special hobby release, isn't it? Really, you sort of like you could see them doing it, but not.
Mm. And the other one, this one's definitely for Phil, is the field toilet, the WC.
Right.
Yeah, there's one coming out for everybody who needs one in their life.
In my experiences, a field toilet is a hole in the ground. So
Isn't it normally a soil pipe just driven in?
Yeah.
I presume that depends which services you're in at the time.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're in the RAF, I suppose it's hooked with a proper toilet.
Yeah, they had a proper seat and everything.
But, yeah, that is very left field as a release. Oh, yeah.
Mark says, fairly new to Flory, I've learned a lot, but oil washers, at first didn't know what or when I would use a whitewash. Just completed a PT boat and used a whitewash on the red portion of the hull. It went for a very subtle effect, but can make it look stained. You can make it look as stained as you want. Oh, it moved again. Don't know if this is what you intended for, but it worked great. Thanks. Keep up the great work.
What about the toilet again? We've gone from that.
How to subtly weather a toilet.
Oh God, that's good. I'll tell you what, right? I'll put it out there now. That's going to be in an AK magazine next year.
It will be, isn't it? Skid marks and everything.
Every the toilet is going to be. Yeah, you can even get the washers and the stains and.
But we'll do a toilet weathering set to go with it.
Toilet weathering set.
Bill, on one of your builds, you used that you did for removing carrier film, and you use turpentine. Did I?
Yeah, I think
I
you
just used
in
probably
that
enamel thinners. That would have been the hind. Used it on the hind to take the carrier film all off, and the Hellcat. But that's a different story. We won't go into that one again. Oh, hello.
Nigel says that he's done their Hurricane. Hasn't done the Hurricane, but he's done the Spitfire as a nice kit. And then James has said, "Yeah, I've done a couple of those, George. They turned out well, but limited run kit and suffer from the usual problems and require extra effort."
Any kit's buildable if you put the time and effort into it. Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes the kits that have issues are the ones you kind of enjoy the most.
You have a certain sense of achievement when you've bashed it into submission. So,
Adamless Sealer. IT boys having trouble attaching PE to plastic. Any advice or tips?
Again, white glue, super glue, isn't it?
Yeah, depends if you want time to wiggle it around or not. But if you're willing to get it super glue and it's on. So that's PVA glue is good for wiggle room, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you guys recommend a good A7 Corsair kit in 48 scale? I would still say the Hasegawa kit. Yeah.
If you can get it.
Yeah, I'd still say the Hasegawa kit.
And if not, I'll be boss as a.
Yeah, there's another option.
That's another one that maybe needs like somebody to do a new one.
Steve says, Phil, when movie build reveals?
End of this. The movie one, oh, that'll be another bit longer yet. Yeah, give me another week. Next Friday, probably.
2022.
There's like 250 odd ones to go through on that, so it takes a little bit longer.
And Neil says that the field toilet's a crap kit.
Very good.
Boom. He's here till Friday.
Does Glory Model do a poo brown wash?
It's coming out soon.
Yeah, could be a new one coming out.
Mark says, is it possible to post up video clips anywhere? I'd like to post some info on my Cylon Raider build with lights, but the Cylons look naff without being able to see the lights on the heads. If you just put it onto YouTube, and then you can copy and paste the YouTube link into the forum.
Yes.
So you can see it.
Yeah.
Dandelion leaves. Is that a military thing for toilet paper? Yeah.
Don't know.
Get lost on that one.
David says any kit is buildable except for a bison.
Bison's buildable, just needs the right person to do it, and that ain't me.
With a clear build schedule. Yeah, that's a big build, that, isn't it?
Over about 18 months.
Soren says, bless you to Matt. Did you sneeze?
Yeah, about 10 minutes ago. It's proper delayed.
Does any company make a 48 scale T72?
A what, sorry?
A 48 scale T72.
T72, I don't think they do, no.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Hopefully Tamiya might do something along that line.
48 T72?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Academy. Academy do one with full interior, don't they?
T72?
A T72.
Are you sure?
Oh, no.
And then he woke up.
I don't know. Do you know, someone does a T72, don't they? Do?
I mean, Tamiya did all the World War II stuff
Yeah.
first, didn't they? So maybe in time they'll move on to that. Academy did a 48 one.
God, how old's that though? Because I bet that's not been available for decades.
That's on scale, mate. It's 2001.
Yeah, that's. I bet that's
I
old.
can remember doing
It has a motor in it. It's one of those that could be motorized.
Sure, I've seen full
Hi guys, I'm
interior.
looking for a good airbrush cleaner. I've got stuck all the times with acrylic PU primers, or polyurethane primers. That's the trouble with polyurethane, you see. If it starts to dry on your airbrush, it gets skinny and ugh. You can stick lacquer thinners through it. I put enough through it, it will dissolve it and flush it out and all the rest of it, but it's not ideal because you have to put a lot through it.
I found like Alclad do an airbrush cleaner, and that stuff is crazy aggressive, so that'll shift it.
Is that Mr. Tool Cleaner we've
Yeah,
got?
I was going to say, or failing that, you've got this stuff, which is lethal. It's like nail varnish remover.
But I'd put that through it and then put something else through it to clean that out.
Yeah, you will need something to go in after that, otherwise you'll come back and have no airbrush. Just melt into your mat.
Smelted metal.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you have a long molten metal on your desk next morning.
Roland from Vienna said, you guys seen the video where the guy applied new Edel decals using Tamiya tape to remove the carrier film? He's put a link up for it. In the chat.
Doesn't it? That sounds risky.
Shit. Yeah. Rather him than me.
Now then, though, was the Tamiya tape fully tacked or detacked at the time?
Yeah,
It just sounds so risky, that, doesn't it? It sounds sounds do or die moment, that, isn't it?
Roger says he's building the 66 Chevy from Revel. It's pants. Don't know how old the kit is.
Nigel's book was out in 59.
Wow.
66.
Les keeps waiting for Gordon the Gopher to pop up in my work area.
Where's not?
It is like a broom cupboard in here, isn't it?
It is.
I called it this afternoon.
It is
Shall I show
pretty-
the people that photo I showed you earlier about my work areas? Just to show that you don't need that very early one I had.
Oh yeah.
Hey, just pre-warning, this is like somebody's holiday snaps.
So this here is from back in the day. I warn you all now. So this was around about 1990 something or other. And yes, this was how it all started. Was this. That's it. That was my spray booth area. Right, so that's it. And then literally, that was my workstation. And
These
funnily
photos
enough, I
have been,
still have that picture on the wall is still with me right here.
What picture?
That picture that's just here. Yeah, that
Oh,
one.
right.
Yeah, that's that.
All right. Okay.
Still
Who
have it.
Who gave you them?
Oh, it's funny enough. It's a very nice client who's, you can probably see at the bottom of the picture, will be his aircraft that I did for him.
Just
So-
go back to that picture. So what's kits are them on the thing then? There's an Asagawa kit because you can tell by the box. What are the other three?
That's the
Like-
Gannet, and that looks like a Wyvern.
So
That's
are
that
they-
Banshee, which will be the Academy Banshee, and there's a Hornet, clearly, because there's always Hornets on the go.
So they were Trumpy kits.
Yes.
That was a Trumpy Gannet, not the Revolt one. You
Yeah,
built,
yeah, so it must have been the Trumpy one, yeah.
Oh, right. See,
Yeah.
look,
It's not.
you didn't need all them tools and fancy gizmos when you.
No, that's it. I had a tray and a foot pump. Clearly, I don't know why I've got a foot pump in there, but
That's to power your airbrush.
yes, that's it. That's how it was. And yeah, I'll find you one that came along a little bit later, thank God. Would have been back in the eons of time.
He's blown up his tyre to 60 psi. So he
Yeah,
can-
that's it. Probably. That's how I was doing me paintwork. Oh, where is it? It'll be down here somewhere. Castle, dog, castle, that lot.
Soren says we're both John and Nathan air cadets. If so, did they actually pilot a plane?
You have control, all that sort of stuff. Do you know, I was thinking about the Chipmunk the other day. I can still vaguely remember the emergency sort of evacuation, how to get out of it in an emergency with pulling toggles and levers and getting told not to jump straight up, otherwise a tail will chop you in half. But the thing with me is I was about 11, so the instrument panel was here. So all I could see in the back of the Chipmunk, you look at the left-hand side, you could see a wing, and the other, that was about, it's very sort of,
Didn't they give you a booster seat?
well, you were sat on a parachute, but they strapped that to your bum before you got on the plane, so you had to waddle up to the plane with a parachute like this, climb into the thing. But I'll always remember is RAF Finningley, he went inverted to say there's a Sea King coming underneath us, so he just went upside down and looked up and saw a Sea King go like that. And he said, do you fancy a grass landing? I was like, yeah, why not? So I did a grass landing in a Chipmunk, and I mean, this is like 30 years ago. I remember it like it's yesterday. Just this Sea King going underneath me. It's one of the... So you had to go, and that was it. It was brilliant. I'd recommend anyone who's got children, get them in the Air Cadets.
What would the thingy now though? What would I bet health and safety would be allowed to go within 20 foot of an aircraft, would they?
I think they still do air experience, and you can still get your gliding pilot's license with the Air Cadets for free.
What they're now? They're on grub tutors.
I think so.
Mm.
Yeah, right.
The Chipmunks have long gone, haven't they? But I'll never forget flying in that Chipmunk. He says, do you want to see the Sea King? Run flat out, I was upside down within like a split second. And one of the RAF like yellow Sea Kings went underneath us.
So the Chipmunk that you build from Airfix, you're going to do it in the red, white, the proper. Yeah.
Somewhere I've still got my logbook from, so I'd have to get so Hannon's no doubt will release the decal set to do all the Chipmunks pretty sharpish, I think.
Yeah.
I'm saying what I was doing, me and Matt, what I was doing 30 years ago, and in warmer climates, and it didn't half make me feel old.
Yeah.
I think that was 30 years ago. God.
I've flown a Cessna as like a little sort of 40th birthday present.
Did they let you loose in a jet provost?
Jet Provost, they wouldn't. I imagine one or two air cadets would have had some a go in it, but
I'm sure John said he went in a provost, didn't he?
I didn't. They used to jump in a rusty old
That'd be
transit.
funny. The age of John, that was probably the piston provost.
John was in the Tiger Moth.
Yeah, that's it.
There's me laughing. I'm older than him.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, but he's not on Andy, so it don't matter.
Yeah, that's it. Just take it, Andy. It's fine.
Yeah.
He's not here to defend himself.
I think you need I don't know.
Dave said he used to get chipmunk flights.
Yeah. I think it was like a thing that every air cadet was not guaranteed, but pretty much guaranteed one flight a year. We always were lucky we managed 2 or 3.
How long were you in the cadets for?
I was in from, I think I joined at 13. I was in pretty much till GCSE years.
Right.
So I kind of left the air cadets to just concentrate on the old school and the exams.
Too much and many itchy trousers for my liking.
Yeah.
No.
No, I mean, I was lucky you could do shooting as well because we were in a TA base in Castleford, so we got to do rifle range stuff as well. If you've got teenage kids, get them in. No better. I mean, you get rid of them for 2 evenings a week as well.
Protect 7-year-olds.
Little while, yeah.
Hey, like permanently.
Get joined up.
Oh, do you think? I've got a feeling we might not see that Nimrod ever again from Airfix. I wonder if them molds have gone.
I don't know.
Do you mean mine's now valuable?
No.
Do I need to hang on to mine then?
Wasn't it a limited edition?
It's as if the molds have been scrapped.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be very limited.
Have you got one, Nate, or did you sell it?
I auctioned it.
You auctioned it? I thought you did.
Yeah, it's too big. I decided it was just too big, but I've got a funny feeling it was a limited edition kit. And then the other thing was, when they were in the shops couldn't get rid of them, could they?
No, they were giving them away at shows. They were going for dirt cheap at shows, piles of them.
I remember a Huddersfield show, one of the traders had them stacked up.
Yeah.
It was like piles of Nimrod kits, because I think everybody liked the idea of a Nimrod, but when they saw how 144 it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so I think we've kicked off some memories of TAs and air cadets and all sorts. Nigel used the old 303 and I kicked like a mule. He said
30 years ago, I'd have been on 7 days readiness to go to the Gulf for bomb disposal. Yeah, that's sounds like my story, David.
There you go. David says he got it for 20 quid for Mobbycraft and Nimrod.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
Roger said he was in the TA for 7 years. He used to like jumping out of helicopters on Thetfield battle area.
That's what Rob did, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rob did that, didn't he?
But without anything attached to him.
He recreated Black Hawk Down.
Hey, you forgot a rope or anything else.
Yeah, that's it. The bit where they shout out brace, Rob decided to jump.
What Roland's put. I live in Austria and I'm now cut off from the support of your strange little island.
Strange little island is probably a way of putting it, isn't it?
Yeah.
God, you know what? I'm thinking back to the Air Cadets Day. Health and safety, I don't know how they can still do it.
It was strict then, was it?
No.
You could actually be a kid and get a grazed knee and, you know.
I mean, to give a bunch of 12-year-old kids a loaded rifle and just say, if you point it at me, I will, kick you hard.
Yeah.
Just putting at us well. And Leslie did Slingsby glider with an open cockpit. Crikey.
Isn't that just after the Wright brothers had done this?
And say what, there was a Slingsby glider.
It sounds
So you
very
mentioned the
fragile.
epic tiger a couple of
Sounds very
times.
old.
Matt, have you got your tiger kit there to hold up? It's the one with lots of wheels.
There you go. It's that one. I say
Come off.
the ICM one, because we've had that on pre-order, because I'm about to tag them off, is allegedly doing on the 11th at our supplier. So next week we should have them in if they're on time and not delayed. So don't take my word for it. But Mr. Andrew there will be sending out invoices for them. So that'd be nice, and Phil will get something else to look at. So I might hang on now, Phil, with your care package, because if that's due in, I might as well send everything down.
Send it all together.
It's, you know, save on a courier trip, wouldn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Thought you lot were doing some modelling anyway.
We're getting there. I've just done some settling. One better word.
Well, Andy, I'll watch the chat while you do a full video build on your Matilda. Next hour.
Here's one I made earlier.
Yeah.
Stealth Matilda.
Boost the heating because it's getting cold in here.
I've got the jacket on.
Very good. Well, I've been sanding and whittling these things.
Another phallic symbol. You're into them, aren't you, really? I'm getting a bit worried about you.
Yeah, that's it. I've got to stop doing rockets and things. Because it's really noisy.
Okay.
Sorry, hold on. Let's get this bit.
Put your overhead on, demonstrate the scraping.
What? Demonstrate my scraping abilities?
Yeah.
Put the overhead on, you'll see them then.
Just mute yourself when you're doing it.
No, you have to have the sound effects.
A minimum of 15, mine's about minimum of 22.
Darryl said he was in the Sea Cadets in Castleford. I was in the Air Cadets in Castleford.
How the hell can you be in the Sea Cadets in Castleford? You're as far from the sea as you can ever get.
There's a river.
Literally over the bridge in the college, and there is a Sea Cadets thing down here. You know,
Yeah, we've got one in Mansfield, Sea Cadet.
Brilliant. So what scraper are you using here, Philip? Could you enlighten us?
So this is the scraper number. Which one's this one? This is the pointy one.
76, I think.
76. So yes, we just have a quick scrape just to smooth everything out and take off the worst of it because it's quicker than sanding. So then obviously we get all the detailed areas.
Hold on, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Roger, if you order one now, your auction win is going to be sent today. So I can add it to that and I'll sort of post it. So this one now done, I'm off to the post office to do some auction winnings. So yours is one of them. So chop. Chop.
Quick sand.
Beautiful that. Have you not been using the thingy glue on that?
What thingy glue?
The black?
No. I literally just white top, to be honest, glue in here. It must admit, it's all a good fit. It goes together very nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering I thought it would be a bit of a nightmare. This thing actually goes together very nice. Hold on, where are we? This side?
Is that Revel's own kit or is it a Mobius one or?
No, it's their own. Yeah, it's their own.
It's not a Reebok thing then, it's somebody else's.
No, it is theirs. But yeah.
It's I ain't got any more cameras here, Richard. They're all over in the shed, so I can't really put an overhead on and mind you. I've actually got the big camera I could probably plug in, but I'm comfortable now.
It's comfortable.
I'll get it set up for next week when my Oppo's in. He can do it for me. Set all the cameras up and get it all looking, and I'll do a bit of building.
Yes. I would say next week we'll get a bit of building on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got quite a few weeks of lockdown left, haven't we?
Yeah, we're into lockdown mode now.
So what's everybody else building for their lockdown builds? What we're going on with? If you look it up in chat so we can have a look. Roland's put up, this is for you. Car throwing models use a modelling company in the EU and sell their stuff to the EU from there.
No, because we can't export. Basically. That's the trouble at the moment. That's why we were sort of hinting at the end of last year to grab it all quick until we get it all sorted. And it's not just us. This is a national problem. You know, that's why Hannants can't ship anything and, you know, PM and everybody. So we're just sort of waiting to work it all out, really.
Yeah.
Our hands are with the British government to sort this out.
That.
As in, this is a bit of a open question. This one's for Andy anyway. David's put, question for PM, what stock levels do you have for kits and paint?
What stock levels do we have?
Like, as in, what do you mean, stock levels for what?
Average
Everything,
stock.
or just a bit more precise? Oh, are you too? Got any order number, Les? Let's see how people need to count. Got one set on that way. Just actually setting up the intermediary bit in it, whatever you call them.
Who's that? What?
It's all right. I'm answering the question about it, and it says Les has put you need an Iori number. We've already got one. Not to do
I
with
think stock levels, if you could see the shop, if you've ever been to the shop before, if you could see the shop now, you'd be amazed or disturbed on the one way. There's tons and tons of stock, but the problem is some things it's never enough, but you never know what it's enough of, because you know, for example, one person yesterday wanted 8 pots of one type of paint. I mean, and yeah, you can order them in as much as you want, and then if you get a few orders where people have ordered a lot of one type of paint, it's not hard to run out of it.
I think what it was how many kits of one type. On the slide, we're not a massive shop, we're not a massive company. I think people tend to think we're a lot than we are. So, you know, really perhaps we've got more, depends what it is and how good a seller it is, or how new it is and how old it is. I mean, look, this is sort of the armour side of things. So, camera there, like, I can't show the other side for obvious reasons, but, you know, stuff there.
I think what we'll do as well, we're saying about this, if we take some photos,
yeah,
and then we'll perhaps on the homepage of the PM store, we can put up some photos.
Yeah, I was gonna. Well, Andy perhaps can with his like.
Andy can bring up his big camera and get studio lights and feel professional.
What? Don't shake. You're.
Put it this way, David. If you wanted 20 Hellcats,
5.
hey,
We could do 5.
there's loads of them.
Right, Roger, I've got your order, so I'll sort it and put the scraper in with the other one, and I'll sort the postage out. So,
There's generally a few of each of the kits in there.
yeah,
I
mean, stuff's changing all the time as well for what we're selling, getting and that, because obviously, as we've figured out, or over the past couple of years that we've been going, the older kits just sit on the shelf and gather dust. It's the new stuff, and then that's got a sort of a shelf life as well, if you want to say that, of how long people want it for. There's a little window that people go, right, I'll have that, and then that would go on to the next one. So it's you know, it is what it is, but yeah, we'd love to keep everything in stock if we could. Obviously, that's beyond us financially and everything, like any other model shop. But we're not going in the right direction, so carry on.
Well, we're always adding new lines and new ranges and stuff.
Yeah,
So.
try to. Yeah, I mean, this year's beginning of this year is definitely going to be a bit up in the air. Obviously, we're leaving the year and everything, sorting some stuff out. That'll get better. Because we haven't got ideas that we want to do and expanding, but best as well. The grand line, so we can see how the land on us first before we make the fun. So.
And we're stay friendly with suppliers, so it's easy. You know, it's sort of like it's quick and easy to get.
Yeah.
Stuff,
I mean, obviously as well, we rely on our distributors for stock, and if they're having trouble getting it in, I mean, we've had trouble with Tamiya paints, been hit and miss, especially some of the LP range, and it comes, it goes, and then another one goes out of stock. There's nothing we can do about that. At the minute, it's just we get, you know, they all back ordered, come in as and when.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously if our distributors don't have enough stock, not getting, and that's the same across the board. Yeah. We all know the shipping container problems at the minute, don't we, Philip?
Sorry?
The shipping container problems.
Yes, the worldwide shipping container problem. Yes, definitely. Yeah, a lot of it, to be honest, is just totally out of our hands. There's nothing we can do about it. So we're just sort of muddling through as best we can. But hopefully, you know, if we can beat this bloody COVID, we can start to get things back to normal. And that means stock levels will increase, you know, times.
Yeah.
But again, it's just that giant knock-on thing. Like even for me personally, with, you know, flooring models with the bottles and washes, the trouble that I've got is that obviously all the companies who make these plastic bottles are now actually not producing anything with a black in it because they're making sanitizers, hand gels, stuff like that. So all the factories, that's all they produce these days. So if you want a black cap, they're like a premium. So we had an order before Christmas. We were waiting on it for absolute ages, and we managed to source one from a foreign land for 40,000 black caps because in the UK, they're not making them. And they were very honest. They said, we're not going to start manufacturing them until March. If you want white, if you want clear, that's not a problem because they're like sanitizer colors. But if you want black, it's not a sanitizer color. And if it ain't a sanitizer, they ain't making it because it's just, you know, supply and demand. There's a massive demand for them. So that's what they're doing, you know. So, yes. It'll go good. It'll be fine. Hang in there, everyone.
Go back to our chat. So David's put, read the build. After watching Alex's very good special on the Sunderland build, I have shelved my special offer version and ordered the Italy one. Gary's doing a 7-second F6 Lightning for the singing 60s, not the swinging. Gary's asked who manufactures the JJ Abrams Enterprise model. It's a Revell.
Yeah.
Mark's got his order from us. It took 3 days to get to London from Donna, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Andy, are you planning on heavily weathering your Matilda or just giving it a light going over?
Depends on the time restraint.
Depends on if I can get my hands on it.
I was thinking of doing a winter whitewash on it.
Well, you really? Oh, yeah, do it. Apparently my sound's fading in and out. Is that true?
I think it's cutting out with the sound of everyone else.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not me. It's these noisy lot. Do you want me to mute more?
You won't hear us.
Clint's put to me, what's your opinion on the Zvezda SU57 5th Gen? The new 48th one. Just watched an interesting video on the real thing. Thought it'd make a good build. I'm going to send one to Filter Review actually. So I've not opened one. I can't see in them because of how the Zvezda box them up. It's not something I can get in without wrecking a box really. So I'm going to send one to Filter Review. But if it's anything like the Zvezda of new stuff, I think it'd be really quite nice to be honest.
Yeah. Let's face it, Zvezda as well. Got some good fitting stuff. It goes together very nicely.
Yeah. I'm not on the actual thingy mic today either. There's no echo because I'm not on this.
No, you're not. Well, you got a little bit, but nothing massive.
Yeah.
I can put my mic back on if that's helps.
Well, usually after 1 hour it gets a bit hissy anyway, so I'd leave it as it is.
We've only got half an hour left. Do you want me to change onto my mic? Finish it because I've got to go to the post office.
All right, okay. Go on then, change it over. We'll certainly get the smooth voice of Matt now.
Yes. Hold on. Do it.
Wait for it.
Is that better?
There you go. That's very smooth.
Is that nice?
Very good.
Right then. Roger's put, is there a method to get rid of the centre seam when spraying with silver? I've stripped, primed and sanded 3 times and it still partly shows.
Again, if you're getting like ghost seams, like this type of thing on here, this is just one of those things where you want to make sure when you're gluing it together, the glue is completely dried. Okay. And then what can happen though is that if you're sanding too much, and if you're using, and this is one of my bugbears with people who think they know about sanders without being horrible, but a lot of people think, oh, use a very fine sander. That's using 800 grit. The trouble with it is it's so fine it generates heat. So when you're sanding away and giving it some welly to get rid of the seam line, you're actually putting in a hell of a lot of heat. And if you feel it, it will feel hot. And then what happens is that the plastic, the molecular structure of it shrinks a little bit with the heat and it gives you a seam line. So what can happen is that it looks fine, you paint it, and then afterwards you get a ghost seam in it. And that's where the seam line appears on its own a few days afterwards. And that's because when it cools down, it shrinks and contracts and stuff as it sets. So that's the only trouble. That's why I always say about with our sanders, shameless plug, I know, but I always go on the heavier grits. So, you know, as I say, 220 is my working grit for everything pretty much. Whereas a lot of people say about, oh, it should be 400 or 800 grit. That's more for finishing and polishing. That's fine. But for working, for taking out seams, you don't want to generate heat because world action glues are always a little bit softer for a long, long time until they've totally gone off. So I always say glue it and then leave it. Leave it for a couple of days to totally go off. But when you sand it, don't go in there just getting it really, really hot. And if it feels hot, come off, put one down, work on the next one and do it that way. Because if you generate too much heat into it, literally you'll end up basically melting it back and giving you some grief. So, yes.
Neil's put, Andy, can you come and do a post run for me?
What?
Can you come and do a post run for me?
Yeah.
And then you can go home early.
Today. Is that home today? He's been working from home.
Yes, he's on home working day. It's fine.
Unless I've got a clone of his in his workroom here somewhere.
Yeah, we've mocked up Andy's studio in there.
He's really just upstairs on the mezzanine.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm there too. I'm just along from him. We just make it look like this to see we're all at home.
He's in me also.
Film set.
Thankfully, no, we don't. Yeah.
Anybody ever build any Ashima 1/350th ship kits?
I've done the 700 scale Yamato.
Where is it? Show us.
Oh, that's in the living room. That's been allowed in the living room.
Mm.
Why is that?
I thought it was good. It was near Tamiya standard. What? Very nice. Very Japanese. Very well engineered.
Does Andy have to clock in?
Yeah. Clock in and clock out.
Andy never clocks out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he clocked in 5 years ago and he ain't clocked out yet.
Yeah, exactly.
The truth is, I've always worked full time, just now I get paid for it.
That's very true. It is very true.
That's it. In fact, we shot ourselves in the foot there, really.
We did. Yeah, we did.
He's being paid to do what he's always done. How did we? Something went wrong there. Didn't think of that. So yes, Nathan is working on the Mary Rose Airfix kit, but he's also got the photo etch set for it.
Yeah.
What scale? Nathan, what scale is it?
1/400.
Bloody tiny.
So I'm working on the. What's this company? I've chopped it all up into a million pieces now. Scale Warships Limited have done a photo etched deck set, which is, I mean, the Airfix Mary Rose.
How old is it?
It's newish. It's only about 6-8 years old, but they got away without. The Mary Rose had anti-boarding nets on it, so Airfix basically gave you the anti-boarding nets as a solid plastic piece, and that meant they never had to do all the decks. But this Photo Etch set here, I've got the wrap lines as well. They didn't, for some reason, include the upper decks here and an upper deck here.
Right.
So I can't really recommend this set because I've had to scrap this top poop deck here. I scratch built that out of plastic, and this one you can see here I've also scratch built that. So the top two decks, for some unknown reason, they didn't include it. So it's like, I mean, it's made a massive difference because I've been able to put the main deck in.
All right.
So yeah, I'd recommend it, but you just have to bear in mind that you have to scratch build this top deck, and then the next bit to put in is the frame there for the anti-boarding nets.
Right.
Well, that's why all the sailors died, because when the thing capsized,
couldn't get out.
they couldn't get out. They killed like hundreds of men, drowned with it, because put all these nets on to stop the French jumping on it, but it stopped the English jumping off.
Getting off, yeah.
But it's if you're gonna, as a week, if you were going to do it as a weekend build, stick with the Airfix kit because it gives you that. Having some fun, lots of wood and oil work going on.
Oh, it looks good. No, it does look very, very good. Something a little bit different.
Oh yeah, definitely different.
I saw Pramjet on the Airfix website building his Sherman Fireplay. Will he be back on the Flory model soon? I'm sure he will. To be honest, we were speaking to him the other day, and he did say he'd come on and discuss his recent build. So obviously the Sherman, as you've seen, the Tiger, and obviously the Spitfire, which is his babies. So he will come on and talk to us again about that in the near future.
It's brilliant.
Andy Bennett says, guys, is there a problem with the website email messaging system? I've sent multiple messages regarding my account and no one's responding. What are you asking, Andy? And where are you sending it to? Are you doing it via the contact me, or are you doing it via something else? Because don't forget, if you do ones like Flory models at Yahoo, because a lot of people use that, that's just what we call a dump address. It doesn't get used properly. So, yes. So make sure you send it via the contact me. But are you after Flory models or PM models?
Who's after who?
I don't know. Andy's saying, is there a problem with the messaging on the website?
I don't know. Is there?
I don't know, but it's all right. We're sorting it. What were we talking about in there? River of Germany, F14D, probably many hands old, judging by the bot. That is an awful kit, Barrel. Yeah. The Revell 48 scale F14D is awful. Oh, hello. Wow, you've got a little friend. Do you want to show everybody what a big bad dog you are with your little squidgy toy? Very good.
Right then, I've just had a message, and you must be watching because you've seen it. The Attacker paint sets we are not putting. We are putting back on sale what we've got, but we are not going to be stocking them after they've gone. Yeah. So again, it's a little job me and Andy's going to do, which we mentioned on Wednesday's show. I think we've got to sort through them, see what we've got. We'll put them up on sale. We'll let you know once they've gone, and we're just going to stick to selling single bottles.
Unless
what?
They do rebottle them, like they said they were going
to. Yeah. For the time being, yeah.
But then they've got to try and get them into Britain, and that'd be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. So, yeah. Also, by the looks of it, well, I've got to go somewhere Saturday tomorrow, innit?
Yeah.
I've got to go and see our man in Barnsley tomorrow in Goldthorpe.
Oh.
Yes.
Roland from Vienna is asking, he brought you some cake at Telford. Did you enjoy it? If you remember at all.
It would have been eaten, trust me.
Definitely got eaten. See what Telford.
What cake was it? Because we did get quite a few. We'd always get cake because everyone's brilliant. We get coffee and cake. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The poor Phil's
The best one was when we got a cake and we took it to the restaurant with us. We had to pretend it was someone's birthday.
That was it. Yeah.
So we could eat it in the restaurant.
Yeah, that's it. Because he wouldn't let us in with it, so we said it's a
it was
birthday
said
cake.
Said it was Ron's birthday, didn't we? And
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah.
Before you know it, they're coming out with plates and everything for us to eat this cake, wouldn't it?
Can you put some candles in it for us and light them?
Tell you what, Phil's probably one of the hardest working people at Telford, aren't you? You just don't stop.
Well, it's all fun.
He deserves a cake.
Keeps
With a
us
bit
out
of
of
luck,
trouble.
we'll be there in September. Everyone's vaccinated by sort of September, and we're ready to go in November.
Yes.
Just answer Lars, unless you've answered him already, about the EU situation and shipping, because he's got a auction kit.
Yeah.
As soon as we know, Lars, we'll drop you a message, and then as soon as we can post, we can obviously post anything. But we'll be in touch. So just hang on at the minute until we can get it sorted.
Hopefully the next week or two.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
I think the newspapers have been writing about it a lot. I was reading John Lewis said they're not shipping out overseas at the moment because they can't get stuff out. So it is something that lots and lots and lots of companies are talking about. I can't imagine the government can't drag the feet on this one, can they? They're going to have to sort something out sharpish, I think.
It is when obviously the big companies are struggling.
But when you've got big companies like John Lewis creating headlines saying we can't ship to the EU because of this, they're going to have to do something sharpish, I think. Because it is a bit daft, isn't it, that we can ship to the States, as expensive as it is, but we can't send something next door. And then there was another article, lots of EU companies. There was a company in Germany stopped shipping to us, and a beer company in Belgium has stopped shipping to us because they just can't get the paperwork.
Yeah,
together.
That's what it is. It's paperwork, isn't it?
I think from both sides, I think from the EU and the UK, I think they're going to have to look at that again, I think. Fairly sharpish. Unintended consequence of Brexit. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah, who knew this would happen? Just go back to Andy about your forum password. Can't you just reset it? Do the email reset? Because I can't reset a password. That's the thing. I don't see the passwords or any information like that. So you should have, if you've got the email, it is an active email. I can change your email manually, so it will go to somewhere else. So if that's your problem, go via the contact me. I just looked. I can't see any in there. And just if you want me to change your email address, I can change it and do it. So,
will you be getting the 7-second as work SMU9 sub in? I will for me. If we can get stocks in, yeah, of course we will. Yeah, I think if people's interested in it and that, yeah, we'll definitely sell. We'll sell it. Now,
is
Nathan,
this because of Brexit or because of COVID pandemic? To be honest, I think it's both.
I think it's a bit of both.
It is. I think a lot of it is Brexit, but because of the COVID, nothing got sorted beforehand because nobody was at work.
Yeah,
you know,
60-40 split on that, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think it was literally, it's just almost like perfect storm, and that's what's happened. So, yes.
I think it's like one of those things that I remember speaking to someone who was in haulage a year ago about Brexit and said it's going to be horrendous for about a month, and then everything will just magically click into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see that's bearing out, isn't it?
It is. It'll
be fine. It'll all work out in the end. I mean, with EU trades across, isn't it Norway? Don't they have to have checks on the border there between Norway and Sweden? So that seems to work quite well. It'll be fine. Thank God we got a trade deal out of it now.
I can't believe that kit's only. I thought they did a really old one of the Mary Rose.
I thought this was a really old kit when I bought it, but I think that's the Cutty Sark.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, it could have been.
Nothing's lining up as it should. Just that mast thing there.
Yeah, the mast at a 45-degree angle.
There's an hole in the PE there.
You could convert it into like one of them Japanese cartoons, manga cartoon, where it's a spaceship boat.
I think the problem is, as soon as you throw aftermarket at a kit, it doesn't quite go to plan. So I need to.
No matter what you do, but if you go back in the day, isn't it, and you started, well, like resin kits never fitted and photo etch never fitted. You always had to do little whittling and sanding to make things fit. But these days we've been spoilt with modern CAD stuff. It just drops in and fits, whereas before we never had that.
I mean, it's a decent kit, but I have thrown sort of photo etch at it, so obviously it's not going to fit as well as it.
You may be surprised to hear, but this Tamiya Matilda goes together perfectly.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that constantly test and adjust and test fit and adjust and.
I was at school when they raised the Mary Rose, so that was in the 80s.
Me
wasn't it?
too.
About
Yeah.
85, 84. I remember being in juniors or.
It was on Blue Peter as they were raising it.
Yes. Yeah, it would have been Sarah Green and
Yes.
the other two.
Yes.
Can't think of the names now, but yeah.
Shep.
Yeah. Damn shit.
82.
Have I ever done a 177? An HE 177? No, I haven't. Found an old Airfix HE 177 red stripe box, 15 quid on eBay. That's an old kit. No, I haven't. Luckily.
No, I would have gone for the Rebel one if you're doing 72nd one, the newer one. That's actually quite a nice kit, isn't it, Nate?
Yeah. I've gone newer on that. I mean, it's a. I mean, I think you can have fun with vintage kits though, but
Yeah.
depends what you want from your build. If you want a nice, straightforward build.
What's considered the best Harrier kit, any scale or type? It's pretty straightforward these days, because if you're thinking 72nd, then it's Airfix.
I tell you what, if you flick to the PM shop, the Hasegawa GR79 fab kit.
Yeah, and there it is. So, and again, so you're looking, if you're going through it, and then obviously if you want the Navy ones, the FA2, FRS 1 and the FA2, then that'll be kinetic.
Can you remember the TVs at school on the trolleys where they wheel
wheel it
just
in.
Put it. David's watched it on TV in the sports hall. Teachers wheeled out the big-ish.
Yes, by today's
TV.
standard, it was portable.
On the tall trolley. Remember them? Oh God, yeah, that was like a privilege. Wheel the telly out.
And then, so anyway, go back to Harriers, and then obviously, if you're into your moderner ones, then it's Hasegawa. So as you say, you've got your GR5, and then obviously your GR7 and 9 be your Hasegawa ones for those. And your AV8Bs, that'd be Hasegawa in 48 scale. And then obviously, if you're going into 32nd scale, trumpeter, it's your only option. So, or 24 scale, you could go old school Airfix if you're feeling very brave.
Question from Mark on our forum. Quick question: could you airbrush zero paints over the new Tamiya lacquer paints? Yeah, because they're both lacquer paints, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should I no problems at all, Mark?
Does the Starship that I'm working on from JJ Abrams come with it? No, I think it just comes with one markings for the Enterprise. I don't think it comes with any others. So I don't think it does come with Hood or Valiant, unfortunately. Phil, what would you just watch the USS Iwo Jima build? What would you change with your weathering if you was to do it today? I probably wouldn't. I think it turned out all right, actually. It's pretty much where I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be quite patchy. And, yeah, I don't think I'd actually change it. I think it turned out roughly how I want it. Buried under about 4 inches of dust these days in my cabinet. It's been through, obviously, either a volcanic eruption somewhere nearby, and it's covered in ash, or, yes, it looks very white, the surface of it from this angle.
Who asked that question, Phil?
That was Chris Riddle.
Chris, so what do you think Phil should have done to make it change?
Ooh, that's a question back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, back at you.
Do you know what, Clint? If this doesn't go well, I will do a diorama of the Mary Rose, something like this.
So, hey, Soren's asked earlier on, Andy, is or was Sam a cadet?
No. He was It went all the way through Scouts, yeah, Cubs, Scouts, Explorer Scouts and everything, but no, never went into Cadets.
No.
Yeah, he does want to go into the RAF, so.
Yeah, might have helped. Little.
Yeah, but the plan is he'll get to University Air Squadron, so.
I miss some long
That's
words.
how people get in, isn't it?
Yeah. As an ossifer.
Let's put Phil, have you thought of amalgamating, God, if that's the right way to say it, dioramas pertaining to fly in the air gallery? They are similar, just a thought.
Not a bad idea.
Could do. Yeah. I
Trim the
suppose.
forest down a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Do it now. Do it.
I can't do it
That's
right now.
the thing.
I've got enough balls in the air as it is, so to speak, without adjusting things. I was just actually looking, Andy. There's nothing wrong with your account. It's absolutely fine. I've just brought up all your details, and it is absolutely fine. No problem. You've paid and everything, so it's nothing our end. So I can only assume is that your email's been thrown for whatever reason. On the contact me, send me a different email address. So obviously don't put it up on the site or anything or anywhere everyone's going to read it, because you'll get a load of spam stuff to come through. But on the contact me, send me another email address and I'll change it manually, and then you can do a reset off of that. But I've literally just got up all your details here. And yes, F4UK is what we've got here at the moment. So, but yes, it's all active and it's fine. Would you replace the ink with oils? Probably would these days. Yeah, so I got more into oils. Back then I didn't use oils. I was using inks. So that's probably the only thing I would do different now. I'd probably just give it oil washes and things instead of ink washes. So yes, from that point of view, I don't really, to be honest, I don't even know where my inks are anymore. I think they're up here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. I get ink here. So.
What I'm doing, Roger, is because I'm not using this plastic part, the original mast just went into the walkway. But now what I've got to do is attach the mast right into the gun deck at the bottom of the boat, and that would leave it too short. So I need to extend it by, at the moment I can say about that much, sort of winging it a bit. But I need to extend the bottom of the mast by about 1 centimetre, because when it, this is so fiddly, the walkway sort of sits on there, and then the mast would on the Airfix kit sit there, but then it obviously goes through, probably more than 1 centimetre. So all I'm doing is some plastic rod. I'm just going to extend the bottom of the mast, but I'm using a bit of metal. So I'm building up there.
Oh, it's like watching a proper model of this, isn't it?
It's like I need to put that inside there and then that inside there, but I'm using the metal just to give it a bit of strength. It's all a little bit of a winging it, to be honest. But that'll just go in there. That into that, and then that into that.
Very nice.
Oh, I love this sort of stuff. I know other people like their painting and weathering, but I like this. Packing.
Right, Andy, we have a small problem because I'm not obviously getting this email thing. So can you send it to sales@glorymodels.co.uk? You email it to that, I'll change it from there. But I've not got a single contact me through. So obviously your email's really not liked by someone. I've just checked all the spam folders and everything, and I got nothing.
You know what happens? You probably get about 10 of them in an hour.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's not working. Obviously, that's why you haven't been getting a reply, because I'm not getting them for whatever reason. So yeah, if you can, yeah, I'm just checking everywhere the spammy bits and everything. I'm not getting it this end. So Yeah, if you send it to sales@FloryModels after the show, I'll check it. Just make sure it's not come through a different way. No, that's curries.
Well, what you ordered?
No, I haven't. It's just they're one of their crappy things they do. So,
Oh, promotional, is it?
promotional thing, yes.
Telling
You know what happens on a Friday? You get a million emails.
I'll get my order of Domino's email soon, I think.
Yeah.
I seem to get one of those on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Andy, order your pizza quick. I'll tell you what, I never realised it was such a thing, but obviously there's lots of people don't like J.J. Abrams' version of Star Trek because of the lens flare and things. Because everyone, when we mentioned it the other day, everyone was like, "Rah!"
Yeah, it gets people backs up, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I didn't realise it was quite as a, where people said about the ship, they ruined the design of the ship and that, and I thought it looks like the old one. But clearly, if you're not into it massively, you wouldn't know.
Is that the Jar Jar Binks equivalent? For
Yeah,
Star
it must be, the Jar Jar Binks effect to Star Wars. So, yes. I didn't realise it was quite as big a thing when the people get quite so upset about it.
Obviously
Yeah,
do,
I mean,
don't they?
thing. This is not proper modelling, this is just winging it. This is me thinking, I'll do a nice simple build, and then I'll get a photo etch deck set and it'll all be fine.
Must be. I never quite understood all the are about Jar Jar Binks either.
I mean, I know some people are very passionate about Star Wars, but just don't watch them. That's my simple. I quite like all the Star Wars. Jar Jar Binks, I'm like, yeah, I could kind of get it a bit, but.
Right, Andy, I'm not getting it via sales@FloryModels either, so I don't know if there's a problem with your email. Try and send it to PM's contact me, because I'll just forward it to me. So, but honestly, it's not coming through at sales@florymodels.co.uk either. So I don't know.
Who is it?
Maybe CC yourself into these emails, and then see if you get the email yourself. Maybe try doing it in the browser rather than Outlook. Odd, isn't it? Ooh, it's 4 o'clock.
It is. Yes, we're at 4 o'clock, people.
Yeah.
I'll just say it, because obviously we're just about to end now, and it seems to be on getting technical questions coming through now. If you're having trouble getting on the site, don't forget, if you're an EU member and you hadn't logged in this year, you might have lost your memberships. We had to cancel them all at the end of last year. I did do loads of things about it, and we have emailed and everything about it. So, there's a large thing that's all gone on, okay? Because, as I say, I've made everybody who was a paying subscriber at that point a free member now. So that was the problem. But we're not actually taking on new subscribers or anything until we get this entire thing sorted with the EU. Once that is, we'll be back to normal. But for the moment, we're all a little bit up in the air with it all. So, yes. Cool. Oh, I thought you said you'd sent it. Sorry, he says you hadn't sent it yet.
Can't explain it.
That'll be it then, eh? Right, okay then. So, should we have a quick roundup of what you guys have been up to? Starting with Matt. Matt's done about as much as I have. We've been hosting the show.
It's been a very good show. Well done, chaps.
Yes, well done, everybody.
If Andy had put his overhead on so we could see what we're doing, it would have been even better.
I'll put it on there.
That's great. That's
Now we're finishing.
freaking perfect.
Oh, brilliant.
Right, there he is.
Ooh,
But
look,
you
all
could have
them
watched
wheels.
this all earlier, but unfortunately he didn't have his camera on.
Yeah. So that's the basic tub. Put together perfectly, and then sanding wheels at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah. To be fair, it's a Tamiya kit. There's not a lot you can say, is there?
No.
No, they are good kits. Do go together very, very well.
Yeah. I was a bit perplexed when I saw that because I was expecting rubber bands and I thought it was going to be a dead easy, quick build. But even more considering they're covered behind lots of stuff. But
Yeah, you don't see it, most of them.
Hey, I was going to say, Andy, you ain't got to build all the tracks. You could just build sort of the bottom run and just pull it round the idler and the sprocket because it's covered up with the correct sand guards, isn't it?
yeah, it'd probably be easier to build it all up, to be honest with you. According to the instructions, they're clicked together, so
Piece of cake.
What can go wrong?
That'll be finished by Monday.
Yeah, I'm not weathering with enamels if I have to.
Yeah, glue them all together and then enamel wash, and you'll be fine as it all falls apart inside.
Oh god. That T55, I spent days getting the tracks to go back together again. That was fun.
Never mind. Be worth it in the end. Right, Nate.
Right, so this, I don't know if you can see it, this is the company that I've been doing the PE set from. So this is their rat lines. So I wouldn't have crikey, imagine trying to scratch build that. So this is, you can follow this because I've been doing a photo build. So I need to do a little bit of an update. I'm a bit behind on that. So today I've just been sort of, so fragile, sort of test fitting the walkway on my trip to Asda after this. I'm going to have to work out how to do 1/400 scale netting, but this eventually will sit, can't have me 3 hands to do this, this will eventually sit there, and then what I've just been doing is extending the mast, so a bit of tidying up to do there, but this mast, I'm going to have to drill a hole in the gun deck, and the mast will, this is the main mast.
Yeah.
That bit, obviously it's way too long at the moment, but that'll fit in somewhere around there. And then it's just a matter next of just getting wood effects, or getting the wood effect on these parts and just kind of working through this is what it's supposed to look like.
I'm sure it'll look absolutely fantastic. Good job.
So that's it. That's my week. Next week of lockdown, I think, is on the Mary Rose.
Yes, very, very good. That's all right. We can all be getting on with those then. So yes, brilliant job. Well, as I said, next week be a little bit different because obviously we'll hopefully do a little bit more building, doing some sort of demoing and stuff to keep you all entertained, and obviously just chatting like we've been doing to keep you all a little bit amused during lockdown version 3, won't we, kids? You're very early. You've got an hour till dinner, so you can wait. Sorry, dog's here. So yes, anyway, what I'm going to do now is leave you with your great work, obviously, that from the group build that finished, well, SIG that finished obviously at the end of the year. So this is technically last year's, and this is one from the South of Doom. So that will give you something to watch for the end of it.
Phil.
It will be a standalone video a little bit later. Yeah.
Phil, just before you finish, we're going to be back on Tuesday, aren't we? Not Mondays. We're not doing Mondays,
No, we're
are
not
we?
doing Mondays, guys, because obviously we've got to catch up with everything, like getting orders out and stuff like that on Mondays.
Yeah.
So we will be with you. I won't be with you, but you will get part 1 of the J.J. Abrams or Abrams Enterprise. So the first part of that will be up with you Monday. I'm going to get that edited at the weekend, and obviously I think it's only going to be 2 parts that will get you to here. And then next week we're going to be going into the painting and all the stuff with that one, and then I'll be starting, which you can follow me during the COVID shows as well, of obviously working on the Seahawk, which I'm looking forward to. Actually, should be a good old build on that one to make our way through. Cool. So there we go. I'd like to thank you all then for joining us. Thank you for all your support as ever. Don't forget, you can get all your stuff and your bits and pieces if you want, if you are in the UK, rest of the world if you like, from PM Models. Oh, Andy's back. So yes, so if you want to get anything from there, please have a look at the site, go through, you can get all the details. I'll link it all down below as always. So right, we've got to be quiet for 4 minutes whilst I play us out with the reveal. So say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Stay safe, watch your fantastic builds, and we'll catch you all on Tuesday. So until later, everybody, happy modelling. Take care. Bye.
Bye.